Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, we are back with some great news from Atlas Intel. And I wouldn't say it's all good news, but it's some news that we should probably be aware of. If we aren't aware already, uh, if we aren't aware already, we are specifically looking at Atlas Intel as the most accurate pollster in the set uh pretty much the country and the world. Honestly, it has set records in many international elections, and right now it's raising a lot of eyebrows in results, both from both the left and the right, because Atlas Intel, some are saying Atlas Intel just released probably its most inaccurate poll, because you're seeing right here Donald Trump winning the Rust Belt but losing the Sun Belt to specifically uh, Kamala Harris in North Carolina and to Kamala Harris in Nevada. Those states are going to be carried by Kamala Harris, while Donald Trump is seeing victory in Georgia, barely. But he's especially doing well in the Rust Belt, where you see Donald Trump winning Pennsylvania by 2.9. Michigan by 3.4, which is very shocking because, as you should know, Michigan is the most liberal out of the seven swing states we are going to take a look at today. And then you got Wisconsin, 1.5. I would say this is the most accurate and most believable. I would say, yeah, Nevada too, because Nevada is technically more liberaler than Pennsylvania and did vote for Joe Biden at a clip of 2.8. But usually the pendulum switches the other way. Nevada shouldn't be voting more left, which is what's looking like right now. But we're going to take a look and analyze these polls by average today. Make sure you like and subscribe for future videos like this, where we analyze future the poll results and add it to our average. So, and basically predict county results. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the state of Pennsylvania, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, here. And we see Donald Trump winning the state by 2.9. You would think, oh, that's going to really, really give Donald Trump a boost. Let's see exactly here. Yeah, Donald Trump is really, really doing well. You'll see he didn't just win an Atlas Intel poll, but just today, a poll released by Trafalgar Group has Donald Trump defeating Kamala Harris by, let's see, 7, 6, 7, 8. 3 points. That is huge. Okay, huge win for Trump. It's in the margin of error, and you'll see Atlas Intel, same deal, in the margin of error. And it seems like, okay, this is probably the biggest poll boost that Donald Trump has seen in a long time. We haven't seen Donald Trump winning 2 polls in a row since this is the very first time, because the last time Donald Trump won 2 polls in a row was in September uh, of early September, earlier this month, where we saw, Donald Trump win by 6. It's in the margin of error. You got Donald Trump win by 1 from Patriot Polling. But yeah, this is the very first time we're seeing Donald Trump win a double point lead in 2 polls within the margin of error, which is absolutely amazing. We still have a lot of work to do, though. We have 1.6 for Kamala Harris. So let's see, has it gone down? Well, you'll see here, you'll see Joe Biden won the state of Pennsylvania by 1.1. I'm sure the Wikipedia establishment is coping with the news, and they're going to probably would have to add that in. You'll see different averages. Like Real Clear has been pretty good of adding these polls. I don't know if Real Clear Politics has really. Oh, look at that. My goodness, we have taken back the state of Pennsylvania. The Electoral College is back in the hands of Donald Trump. As you can see here, there's been 2 wins. One from Trafalgar and one from Atlas Intel. We have taken back the Electoral College. This is according to, of course, Real Clear Politics. And this is subjugated to change, believe it or not. This is yeah, definitely. And you'll see last couple flips have been with Pennsylvania throughout the week. It's been the 13th, Pennsylvania flipped to Harris, and then it flipped back uh, to Trump, and on 3 days later, and then 2 days later, it flipped back to Harris, and then 11 days later, it flipped back to Trump. So it's been going back and forth. But yeah, you'll see they need to update this because Real Clear is predicting Trump plus 20, not a Trump Harris 0.9. So they're going to have to update this. They will update this. So do not worry. But regardless of the news, though, this is what it's kind of looking like prior to the update. You'll see it's going to probably look like the 2020 result, where you're going to see here Kamala Harris get away with the same counties Joe Biden got away with in 2020, 4 years ago. Well, this is what it's looking like. $13 for Harris, Trump, 54 counties. So yeah, nothing's really changing, and we will probably see a change tomorrow. We could do a video tomorrow in Pennsylvania, but we'll see. Other than that, really good news in Pennsylvania. Yes, this is, and that specifically with Atlas Intel, which has been accurate so far. So, yeah, this is Proud Patriot has pointed this out. Honestly, I pointed it out without looking at Proud Patriot's comment. Trump's winning the Rust Belt but losing North Carolina. Interesting. Not just North Carolina, but he seems to be losing the Sun Belt, which I've done previous videos of him doing good in. So, like we've seen Georgia, for example. Yeah, he's only leading by 0.6. That's not what we usually see with Georgia, because Georgia is more conservative than the Rust Belt. And you would expect, okay, he's winning the Rust Belt, maybe because of labor unions. Who knows? But I'm thinking, if the labor unions are that good, then why is he losing why is he losing the Sun Belt? It doesn't make sense. So yeah, I agreed with Proud Patriot. Absolutely. Yes. Very interesting. I think that is indeed agreeable. That's interesting indeed. A little weird if you ask me. But yes, let's take a look at North Carolina. Yeah, North Carolina is going for Harris. Let's see if the Atlas Intel is going to put a dent into the average with that said here. Okay, it's a little wonky, you'll see. Last couple of polls, it's been in favor for Kamala Harris. It could very well go into her hands, like I would say, in this case, maybe tomorrow or something like that. But yeah, I see a hard time. I have a hard time believing Trump's leading by 0.3. I mean, this poll was dropped on the 25th. That was Atlas Intel. Is that a 2.4? Technically, it's 51. But I guess they don't include that said percentage numbers. But let's see, margin of error. They're in the margin of error. So keep an eye on Pennsylvania. Keep an eye on North Carolina. Other than that, I don't think much changes in North Carolina. Here, things kind of look the same. I was kind of hoping that we would regain some momentum in North Carolina, but just because Kamala Harris is getting a stack of 4 polls. Well, no, it's not even 4 polls. Sure, Trump won a Fox News poll, Bloomberg and Morning Consult 2 polls, Atlas Intel just 1 poll. Okay, it's not game over in North Carolina. Come on. out of everything, I think we're North Carolina has always been impossible. Take a look at the previous state polling and state elections for North Carolina. You'll see almost every election had Democrats predicted to win. Have they won, guys? No. I mean, United States Senate election 2 years ago didn't have Beasley win, but it was supposed to be close. And was it close? Yeah, it was within. It was below 5%. But then again, I would expect Beasley to do a little bit better. She's a Supreme Court justice, okay? A Supreme Court justice of North Carolina. She's the chief Supreme Court justice. So honestly, you would expect her to do a little bit better. But this is what I'm thinking it looks like as of right now. Looking at an example of that. But yes, okay, this is 2024. Shoot. Let's go 2020. Okay. So, yeah, you'll see Paul Martin Newby was specifically yeah, this is the actual polls. Newby didn't stand a chance. Look at that. This polling. I mean, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. 2 polls were out of the margin of error. 2 polls were in the margin of error. So I'm predicting, ideally and realistically, it looks sort of something like this. It's looking like that right now. Okay, so let's see. Trump barely won Georgia. Does this put a dent? Okay, we're still leading in Georgia, technically. But for some reason, there has been some Kamala Harris polls dropping randomly. Like, we got one here, we got one here, we got one here, and here, and here. Yeah, I think this is what it's going to look like till election day with all the swing states. It's tight. Like the news media likes to say, it's tight. And I'd expect that overall. 0.7 in the state of Georgia. Meanwhile, yeah, there's nothing changing in my opinion. I'm kind of laying the groundwork down, thinking, yep, I'm putting my money and my betting odds down. It's probably going to look like this. The round 1 result for the 2022 United States Senate election, where we saw Raphael Warnock defeat Herschel Walker in the first round. Can we look at that? Let's pull that up again. 2022. Georgia. Round 1. Okay. So I said, oh, it's going to look like this. Okay. That's what I'm thinking it will probably look like. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't look like this, especially seeing that this is going to be probably a close race. The pendulum usually swings the other way. And I think, you know what, it probably swing in favor of Trump. I'm not saying he would win it. I think he will. But compared to these numbers, I think that yeah, he's probably going to end up winning the state and would look like this, even though the map displayed here shows a Democrat victory in the first round. It could still go either way. It really can. It does depend on the shade of red and blue. But yeah. But yes, this is what I'm thinking it looks like. Yeah, this is Atlas Intel. But yeah, interesting poll results. But yes, that concludes the state of Georgia. Let's go to Michigan, where Trump actually got a really good boost in the air. I'm kind of interested to see that right here. Michigan, 3.4. That's a really big boost for Donald Trump. Let's see if that is enough. Like, is it in the margin of error or something like that? Okay. Uh, I mean, Kamala's still in the lead with 2.4. And you'll see it's kind of going in Trump's favor. I can't say it is. You got the New York Times, Siena College dropping a poll, I believe a couple days ago. Kamala defeating Trump by 1. And Trump defeated Kamala by 2. Problem with that, it's out of the margin of error, which is 4 point. I mean, I would say great news. Look at that. Compared to the Kamala poll, that was amazing. But there's some good news. There is a poll within the margin of error for Atlas, and that's Atlas Intel. Atlas Intel is a genius in trying to get these polls into the margin of error. But yes, you'll see 51 to 47 here. 51-47. Interestingly enough, that is, of course, a 4-point win. That's in the margin of error. 1.4. That 1 point, I'm guessing that was within the margin of error. That 4 point right here is a little questionable. But this is what a 2.4 looks like, comparing it to Biden's win in 2020. Yeah, this looks like 2.7, 2.4 would look like, I would say, Muskogee and Saginaw. I want to believe that's the county name. They're going for Trump, as well as these counties over here. We'll give Kent County to Harris. They're going in favor of Kamala. So yes, I do think this would look like this is a Kamala Harris victory scenario, despite Trump winning a 4, and that's amazing. We need to tank it back a little bit, and to be honest, come on, I think yeah, not many polls are adding at the Atlas Intel. I can tell a lot of these pollsters are liberal, and I mean obviously because this is big tech, right? Big tech. These organizations and programs tend to be more left leaning, so they're going to be like, they're going to dread adding that into the register. But here's the thing, guys. Being an analyst, like what I'm doing right now, you have to have some sort of strength in your emotions, some sort of control, and you got to have you got to put your coping into control. Like, yeah, it's tough. Absolutely, it's super duper tough to look at these polls and say, we're losing that much, and trying to be positive about that. It's hard. Liberals obviously have a super duper hard time with that. I mean, and then they like to create a lot of different excuses, but not to say that we're not guilty of that too. I've been skeptical. I've created excuses sometimes. You could see me create some excuses, and I've ended up being wrong. But to be honest here, I did speak out, and I'm going to continue to not denounce this. I just still believe in, of course, polling bias, right? I obviously believe in polling bias. I do believe, like, okay, this shouldn't be a 2.4 if the Atlas Intel showing Trump winning against Harris by 4 and it's in the margin of error, this should be registered. And if this was true, I would expect Real Clear to dip down a little bit, 270 to win, dip down a little bit. Yeah. And this state has been going in for Harris all the way. And so I'm having a hard time believing North Carolina is going to go to Harris more than Michigan. This is actually Trump's best state, believe it or not. And liberals seem to agree that they're going to win Michigan. We can all agree that Michigan's the most liberal, right? Democrats, Republicans alike. Michigan is the most liberal, while North Carolina out of the 7 is the most conservative. Why is it the other way around? I don't know. Ask Atlas Intel, but Atlas Intel's isn't a god, okay? Atlas Intel is not a godly like polling source. They can make mistakes, but the point is they're within the margin of error. We've had polls within the margin of error. Bloomberg Morning Consult for once was in the margin of error. So yeah, I mean, and just because it's in the margin of error doesn't mean it's going to be that way. Just keep that in mind. Wisconsin 1.5. We are turning the needle, turning the knob with Wisconsin. How much are we doing it? Yeah, she's rebounding at 2, but the thing is, she won 2 polls, right here, but those 2 polls were out of the margin of error. Okay, New York Times, Siena, sorry, you guys, they're out of the margin of error. So the chances are low that they're actually going to register that in. But you'll see, we won the Atlas Intel poll. It's in the margin of error, of course. So we're going to go ahead and predict Harris +2. Honestly, Harris is not going to win Wisconsin by 2 points. Come on. Let's be honest here. This isn't going to be a Tony Evers versus Tim Michels, I think that's his name, sort of election. Come on. And I think Trump will win Wisconsin if he gets the rural white voter out. Get more rural white voters out and voting. And I mean, that's an easy demographic for Trump. Rural white voters love Trump. But to be honest, Wisconsin has a lot of rural white voters that are progressive. You take a look at the 2008 Wisconsin map, you'll see overwhelming majority of rural counties going in favor for Democrats. I mean, you would go as far as to say, oh, I wonder why all this is blue. It's not urban. We would be seeing a Wisconsin urban metropolis. It's not ethnic, except for this county right here, Menominee being Native American. But all these counties, no, they're all white, Caucasian, white-dominated counties. Why is this? Well, you'll see a lot of Wisconsin voters at the time. Wisconsin's a state where a lot of farmers are still progressive. They're still registered Democrats. I think a majority of farmers in Wisconsin are still registered Democrats, but are voting Republican. That is a good theory. You'll see even before Obama, a lot of these rural counties still tend to be in favor for Dems. Going into the 90s, yeah, it totally, completely looks like a 2008 scenario here. Here's a visual of municipality. I would say video, but here's a image. Yeah, look at all these farmlands. Blue, 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 blue. Even townships. The thing is, yeah, Wisconsin, you'll see majority of people in the country, around the country, like Nebraskans. Nebraskan farmers are overwhelmingly Republican. Iowan farmers, they used to be Democrats. Now they're pretty Republican. Iowa went as far away, but Wisconsin, it would be a red state if Wisconsin followed the Iowans and Iowan farmers in this case and left. But not all Iowan Wisconsinite farmers have committed themselves to joining the GOP. A lot of these Wisconsinite farmers, dairy farmers, many of them are not really political, and they may be a little bit religious, but you think they're a registered Democrat. They've been a Democrat their whole entire lives. They probably don't feel it's the right thing to go and leave the party. So that's why Trump really needs to get those white rural farmers out. And if we get the white rural farmers out, we're going to ultimately win the state. That's what Cook, the Cook report or Cook swingometer has concluded. Um, but yes, this is what it's looking like, a 2-point win for Donald Trump. And we got our last two states, Arizona. 1.2. Yeah, this is the best this is the state we're really doing well with the Sun Belt, amazingly. And beginning of this year, I'm like, can we really win Arizona? Because I was still in doom and gloom with the 2022 results with Arizona. But then I slowly realized, you know what? We should probably do well. Yeah, you'll see Kamala Harris. She kind of rebounded. She won a Bloomberg Morning Consult poll. Keep in mind, Bloomberg Morning Consult in favor for Dems. Don't get too wound up about it though. But yeah, you'll see Atlas Intel. We won the most recent poll, and Trump's still holding on pretty strong at 1.3. So I would think, ideally and realistically, it looks like this still Maricopa. By the end of the day, and by November, when we conclude, I think it would look like this. Maricopa, Red Eagle Politics thinks Maricopa is going to go red. I don't think so. And that doesn't mean Arizona's going to go blue. I do definitely think Arizona's compatible, though. And we really should really focus more here. Even though we're doing really good door to door to door, Phoenix is like the 5th biggest city in America. 5th biggest city. It's becoming pretty hard to win over. And ideally, every election year, Phoenix and Maricopa County is going to get much harder and harder and harder. As long as Phoenix has like 5 million, I don't know how many people, but it's like the 5th, 6th biggest city in America. It's going to be hard, and eventually Maricopa County is going to be unwinnable. So we got to play with this idea. Right now, can we win it? Well, seeing how we did well in 2016, we barely won it. And seeing that it's gotten so liberal lately, I don't know if we could possibly win this said county. But of course, we should know by now we don't have to win the county to win the state. We can crank it back in like Tucson by a little bit and we win the state. It's that simple. We do not have to win Maricopa County in order to win the state of Arizona. A lot of people have a hard time believing that because 5th biggest city, you need to win that. Yeah. But if we win the suburbs, that's really going to help turnout wise. So let's take a look at Nevada before we end this video. Yeah, I saw this coming. Now Harris is going to win by 2. But the question, yeah, Atlas Intel is saying Harris plus 4. Okay, Harris plus 4. And what's that going to look like? 2.8 in Nevada. And really, it doesn't look anything other different, ideally. Doesn't look any different than what we've predicted in the past. So it looks the same. But anyway, what do you guys think about our swing state prediction? Let me know down below. Is this good news or bad news? I could see a mix of this prediction being wins for Trump And mixes of these predictions being a warning sign for Trump, or other words, good wins for Harris. Nevada, North Carolina, to me, are the most concerning. Wisconsin, not so much, because Wisconsin, Nevada, I would say, is the most concerning. Simply because usually the state over predicts with Republicans in general. That doesn't mean Trump's going to lose it by 6 points or anything. They tend to really overestimate Republicans, unlike with Wisconsin. But anyway, what do you guys think in regards to our prediction tonight? Let me know down below. And as always, I will see you all in the next political episode.